past, have you ever found yourself in this position where you're super stressed because the first day of school is right around the corner and you still have so much school supply shopping to do and you don't even know where to begin? If so, this video today, I'm going to be telling you everything you need to know. Yes, the who, the what, the where, the how, the why, everything you need to know about school supply shopping so that I can help you make that process as easy, as simple as possible for you so you have one less thing to worry about before school starts, because I already know that big day is already a huge worry in and of itself. If you don't already know, my name is Mackenzie Warren. I'm the founder of Mac School Prep, and I've devoted myself completely to sharing with you all the insider hacks, all the insider secrets that enabled me to be successful in high school and also to get into 13 highly selective universities, including Duke. Whoop, whoop, go Blue Devils! Alrighty, so before we go ahead and jump right into the content, I want to give you a friendly nudge to please take literally just 5 seconds to hit the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and then also click the notification bell so that you can stay in the loop with all the content that I'm going to be sharing with you. Alrighty, it's your girl Mac back with another quality video. So what I want to do right now is preface with something that you may or may not already know, and that is that when you are prepared for something, all of your nerves go away. All of your nerves vanish and disappear. And why? Well, because when you're prepared, you have nothing to worry about. And to give you an example, to kind of make that abstract a little bit more understandable, you may have experience with when you study really hard for a test. On the day of the test, you kind of are able to walk into the classroom with this confidence, with this almost kind of this swag, because you did your due diligence in learning the material. You well prepared yourself for any curveballs that your teacher might throw your way. And so kind of consequently, you're on test day, you're feeling good. You're kind of like, yeah, man, I got this. Teacher, throw whatever you can at me because there's really nothing that can, kind of throw me off my game. And so what I want to do in this video is to help ensure that you are the most prepared as possible for both the first day of school and also the entire duration of the school year. A primary step in ensuring your preparedness for school, for your academic career, is having a successful school shopping spree. So making sure that you're doing you're going school shopping, but also that you're doing that process correctly. And so today, in this video, I'm going to be breaking down my 6-step strategy for school supply shopping. And yes, I intentionally did a bunch of S's. I hope you liked that tiny bit of humor. Okay, so step 1 is going to be examining your schedule, breaking down and figuring out what are the classes I'm even going to be taking this upcoming school year. And so once you figure that out, you're probably going to have, like a math, a science, an English, a history, a couple of electives, maybe a language, things like that. What I want you to do is write down the name of all of those classes. And you can even type this up too. I'm more of a pencil and pen type of gal, so I enjoy writing. But there are a few ways you can do this. So if you write, like me, you can have this piece of notebook paper. And so what I would do on this piece of notebook paper is list out all of the classes you are going to be taking that upcoming school year. And I would list them on the notebook paper and leave about 10 lines in between them, to kind of prepare you and set you up for step 2. Another way that you can kind of prepare yourself for step 2 is by writing down all the classes that you're going to be taking, each on individual index cards or also on individual Post-it notes, and just putting the name of the class at the top and then leaving the rest of the index card or the Post-it note blank for step 2. And then, like I said, you can also, if you don't like writing, you can also type up this information and kind of make a similar table setup in maybe Excel or Google Docs or something like that. Now, for step 2, you need to figure out what are your teacher's needs? Or in other words, what is your teacher thinking is necessary for you to be successful in the class for that upcoming year? So basically, what are the required materials? And in order to figure this information out, typically schools post like a school supply list on their website or something like that. But if your school's not that fancy schmancy, then don't worry. Another thing that I would encourage you to do is actually just email your teacher. Email however many teachers you're going to have and send them each a similarly based email and just say, hey, my name is blah, blah, blah. I'm going to be a student in your blah, blah, blah class, and I am preparing myself to go school supply shopping, and I was just wondering what are the required materials for your class because I want to set myself up for success. Easy as that. And so kind of a side note, yes, I did say that you're going to want to email your teacher if the school supply list isn't public knowledge. And so that means that if you don't have an email already, that you're going to want to take some time to create one because that is super, super essential to be successful in any academic setting. So anyways, back to step 2, like a required material, it would be like maybe for a math class. They might say, you're going to want a notebook with graph paper inside of it to take notes. So that would be an example of a required material. And once you have that figured out for each of your classes, what you're going to want to do is go back to your index card or go back to your Post-it note or go back to your notebook paper or go back to your Google Doc Excel spreadsheet, and underneath in that blank space between the title of the class, you're going to want to list out all the required materials for that class. And then you're going to move on to, once you've done that, you're going to move on to step 3. Sorry, I kind of transitioned into Spanish there and I don't know why. But if you know some Spanish, then there you go. But anyways, so step 3 is going to be figuring out your specific needs. So sometimes the materials that you think you're going to need to be successful in a class are going to kind of extend beyond that required material list. And so, for example, you might think, well, in order to do my math homework, I'm pretty sure I'm going to need some graph paper, but that supply might not be on the required school supply list that your teacher sends you or that's on the website. If it's not there, that's okay. But that's why you're going to do step 3 and figure out what do you need. And the best advice I can give you to figure out what school supplies you need to put yourself and set yourself up for success is to basically close your eyes, take yourself through your typical routine on a school day. You're going to basically, from the moment you sit down in your desk in class, imagine the materials you're going to pull out of your backpack or that you want to pull out of your backpack. And then when you close your backpack and you go home for the day and, you're kind of analyzing your homework for that particular class, what are the things that you're going to need to be able to do that homework to the best of your ability that aren't already on that required school supply list? And so once you have that figured out for each class, you're going to go back to that index card or that Post-it note or that paper, and you're going to write down all the things, all the supplies that you need underneath the name of the class. That's going to be step 3. So once you have that checked off your list, you're going to transition and move on to step 4, which is basically your general needs. So they're not the supplies you're going to need for specific classes because you've already addressed that in step 3, but they're the supplies that you're going to kind of need that are commonalities across all of your classes. They are the supplies that you're going to need to be successful in general. Hence your general needs. And so just to kind of give some examples of what I mean by supplies that would fall under your general needs would be things like a backpack or a pencil bag. Just kind of side note on pencil bags, some just kind of standard supplies that I recommend that you can never go wrong with, that are always super useful to put in a pencil bag, or obviously some pencils, a couple black pens or blue pens, whatever you prefer, maybe a red pen, obviously, some scissors, a glue stick, an eraser, things like that. Those are kind of the most basics, and those are the things that I always have in my pencil bag. Another kind of supply that would fall under the general needs category would be, for me, I always have a folder that is kind of called my all-important folder. And so whenever I get like handouts, like field trip forms or maybe handouts from my counselor or stuff like that where they don't necessarily apply to a specific class, but they're still these really important documents, I stick them in my all-important folder. And so they don't get lost in the shuffle with my folders for my other more specific classes, but it's my all-important folder, so I'll always go and look in there and see, okay, what are these important documents that I need to look through, and I kind of have a safe place to store them. And another thing that I always put in my all-important folder is notebook paper. You can never go wrong with notebook paper. It is always super useful. Maybe you forget your notebook or something, you have that notebook paper so that you aren't, lost. Now, that's kind of that for the general needs, and obviously those are just kind of like the bare bones of some supplies that would fall under the general needs, but you are your own person and there might be some other things, some other general needs supplies that you might want to get, maybe like a ruler or something. Also, those general needs thing, where you're going to put those is on a separate piece of paper. If you were using a paper or something like that, you're going to put it on a separate piece of paper and title it Master List. So all those general needs supplies, you're going to put that on a piece of notebook paper titled Master List, kind of at the top. What this Master List is going to come in handy for is step 5, which is called grouping time. And so what you're going to do is go back to all your little Post-it notes or all your index cards or, that initial piece of paper that you had with all your classes and those respective supplies on them. And you're going to find the commonalities in supplies across each class. And so what I mean by that is you're going to go and you look at your class 1 and you're going to say, okay, this class wants a notebook. Then you're going to move on to your class 2 and your class 3 and you're going to class 4 and you're going to see, okay, do these other classes need notebooks? If yes, then you're going to count up how many notebooks you need, and on your master list, you're going to put the number of notebooks you're going to need for all your classes. And so you'll put, like, for example, if you have 7 classes and all 7 require a notebook, on your master list, you're going to put 7 notebooks. Another supply would be if all of your classes require a folder. Then you're going to count them up and put 7 folders on your master list. But if only 3 classes require a folder, that's okay. Figure out what classes they are, and on your master list, you're going to put 3 folders. And so what this is going to kind of really make easy is when you actually go school supply shopping, when you go to the store, the process is going to go by super, super quick, because instead of shopping for each class, what you're going to do is be shopping by section in the store. And so what I mean by that is when you go to the notebook section at the store, you'll look at your master list and you'll say, okay, I need 5 notebooks. And so while you're in that section at the store, you'll say, bang, 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 put all 5 notebooks into my basket and move on. And that'll kind of make the process go by a lot quicker, because nobody wants to be at the store shopping for 5 hours, right? And so now, once you have your master list created, you are actually good to go. You're ready to actually go shopping. So now we're going to fast forward. So kind of that step 5.5 is actually doing the shopping bit. And I'm going to give a few extra tips on the shopping at the end. But now I want to transition to step 6. So that was 5, 5.5, and now we're at step 6. Once you have all your supplies bought, you're going to want to organize your backpack, because having an organized backpack is always super important for setting yourself up for success in the classroom, because you never want to just throw all your materials in your bag. So the way I usually organize my backpack, there's 2 ways to do it. You can organize by subject. So I'm kind of basically grouping, maybe similar subjects like writing intensive, so like English and history, kind of putting them in a section in your backpack, all the materials for that. And then the more like mathy and sciencey and analytical type of subjects, you're going to want to put that in a different section. You can always do that. But the way I like to do it is sorting my backpack by schedule. So my first class, I always have the materials for that, like at the very forefront of my backpack, and then my second class, third class, fourth class, fifth class, and kind of all the way back. So my stuff for my first class is always easy to access, and then I kind of move back in my backpack as I progress through the day. So those are the 6 steps for successful school supply shopping, to kind of just continue my trends with all the S's. But now I want to just go ahead and give a few extra tips. Online shopping versus in-person shopping, I know that that's always something like people are kind of trying to evaluate the pros and cons of. When it comes to school supply shopping, I am always the type of girl to go to the store and pick out what I want and see it in person and feel it and touch it, just so that I know what I'm getting myself into. So another tip that I want to give is that some places that you can always go for some school supply shopping is Walmart, Target, and Office Depot. Those are like my go-to places. They have really good prices, really good stock, and they're just always super helpful. And there are like these ubiquitous chain stores where like they're just like McDonald's. They're found literally everywhere. So you shouldn't have a problem with finding either of those 3 stores in a location near your house. Now, the third thing I want to say is that the best time to go school supply shopping is early, like the first week in August, because that's when the stores are going to have the highest stock, so the most materials available. You won't be stuck with like the leftovers. And then also you're going to avoid that crowd that always goes at the last minute, that last week of August, that last weekend right before school starts. So going a day in the first week of August, writing that date down on your schedule and just like being self-disciplined and sticking to that date is really important, and saying, hey, August 3rd is the date that I've designated to go school supply shopping, and then planning everything else around that is just going to be really helpful. Now, the fourth thing I want to say is talking about a backpack. And I know that when you invest in a backpack, it's always like this super long process, at least for me, because backpacks are expensive. And also, what you should be kind of placing more of a premium on is a quality, durable backpack over appearance. And so I always like to get a backpack that's going to be long-lasting, that I'm going to be able to use for 2 to 3 years, and that's not going to break down on me. I usually get like all black or all one solid color because I don't really care about, oh, I'm looking good with my backpack. It's not about that. It's about, is my backpack going to be able to hold all my supplies and last for a really long time? And some places to go to find a backpack are obviously going to be, your Walmart, your Target, your Office Depot, the places that you go for your regular supplies. But also looking online for backpacks can also be super helpful, because typically online is going to have better prices. And so Amazon, or I'm also going to put a couple of links in my description for places that you can check out that have really good prices, but that also have really quality, durable backpacks that are going to last you a really long time. On a final note, it is time, as Daniela Pierbravo would put it, to take charge of your future. And after watching this video, the best way that you can do that is by first start laying out and start implementing this 6-step strategy for successful school supply shopping, so that you can set yourself up to hit the ground running during this upcoming school year. Don't forget to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and then also hit the notification bell so that you can stay in the loop. Thank you. Bye.